Hello and welcome to the United Stand, live on the lunchtime with some fantastic Manchester United transfer news. And I do call it fantastic because Fosu-Mensah potentially going to Frank de Boer at Crystal Palace on a loan is absolutely fantastic, really. I really would not normally celebrate a player leaving Manchester United, but I think it's so important for his development this year. I've been on about it for weeks. I even mentioned it last week as well, and I think Fosu-Mensah is widely regarded by a lot of United fans, and it's not normal to react like this with such pleasure, really, but I really think it's a positive, especially at Crystal Palace. I'd forgotten that Sam Allardyce isn't there anymore and Frank de Boer is, who's managed him before. I'm very, very excited by this, really excited. I'm excited to see Rooney play next year, but he's a United, I nearly said relic, he's an old boy, so I was going to look forward to watching that, but Fosu-Mensah is one of the future. The reality is he's not going to get the minutes at Manchester United this season, and we all know that. So how exciting it will be if this happens, that he goes to Crystal Palace and we'll all be able to watch him and, you know, watch his progress. And I think it's just a testament of what a talent the lad is, really, because I've seen, you know, loan moves are a good move for a player like him if they're not going to be around playing that much. But to get a Premier League loan move is really, really positive. It's not easy to do that. I hoped a Premier League move would be good, but Championship was probably, wouldn't have surprised me. So the fact that it's a Premier League club in Crystal Palace, the fact that it's a footballing coach in the Frank de Boer, real positives for Fosu-Mensah. Very, very excited. And as I said, I suppose some people could perceive it as a little bit weird to be so excited about a player leaving United, but a year-long loan, Crystal Palace. If he played 20 Premier League games this season, and hopefully he'll be a first teamer, if he plays 20 first team games for Crystal Palace this season, what a bit of experience that's going to be for him. Because, you know, United, of course the ideal would be that he played games for United, and that's what we want, but upcoming season I don't think he'd play that many minutes. He only played just over a game in a whole season last year, which was poor on Mourinho's part. Maybe he should have loaned him last year, but if he loans him this year, he's had a year under Mourinho to understand what Mourinho's about. Maybe it's a long-term plan, so we shouldn't knock it. But going in the Premier League, playing for a team like Crystal Palace, out of the bubble of Manchester United, where better players, better facilities, better surroundings, you know, it's hardcore at someone like Crystal Palace in the Premier League, and I think that will suit him like a glove. I'm also very excited to see where he plays. Will he be used as a right-back, or will, like many of us feel he is, will de Boer use him as a midfielder? Because that will make, you know, I'll be watching Palace every week if he plays for them as a midfielder next season. And that might sound might sound odd, but you know what? I'm passionate about our youngsters, and I'm passionate about Fosu-Mensah, Pereira, Rashford, Twansibi. Will Twansibi go on loan? Can we get him a Premier League club as well? These lads are ready. I just don't think they're going to get enough minutes this season, so it's another masterstroke by Fosu-Mensah. It is Broad Street, Birmingham, well done. Hayder's saying, is it official yet? Not as far as I know. It's rumoured in a lot of British press that he will go to Crystal Palace on loan. He'll do a medical today. I think it's massive news, and very, very positive. Robin Enkman's mentioned Sergi Roberto from Barcelona, which is the second part of the video. £35 million release clause. Apparently United have had an offer rejected. What do we know about Sergi Roberto? He's not really a player that many of you will know about. Effectively a bit of a squad player for Barcelona at 25, but he has become more first team over the last year or so. A very decent all-rounder, good on the ball. Is he worth £35 million? 5'10", 25. You know, he's good. You know, being a Barcelona player, as you can expect, he's technically very good. Busy. You know, not dissimilar to Herrera in many ways, and we do need another player of that ilk. I'm dashing the red tie today. Yeah, so I don't necessarily think there's anything in it, but as Michael Carrick 16 says, Roberto can play right back, right wing and CDM, but not what we need. I wouldn't mind him for depth, but that's it. And I think that is the nail on the proverbial head there. You've hit it, you've smashed it, Michael Carrick 16, because he is very, very good, very, very good in that aspect. And you know, a bit like Serge Aurier, he gives us a little bit of depth in the squad. Aurier, who knows what's happening with Serge Aurier, from one Serge to a Sergi in relation to Roberto. I think that, to be honest, I think that's probably paper talk. with regards to Roberto, but keep a watching brief on it is what I would say. But the Fosu-Mensah thing, I really hope that does happen. There's lots of weird things about this transfer window. I don't think it's been the transfer window I predicted or wanted in relation to the signings we've made, but I am actually quite happy with them now. If we can get like a left winger, hopefully Perisic, and another sort of squad player, I think I'll be very happy with the issues we've resolved without signing a marquee signing, and maybe that could happen. But retaining De Gea, I think, is like a new signing. Pereira coming back and being involved is like a new signing. Rooney going is a massive issue resolved in relation to wages, status, and you know, he won't be playing next season, which I think is a positive, although it's sad because he is obviously a legend of the club. And Fosu-Mensah getting out on a loan to a Premier League club, that is massive, absolutely massive if it happens, and Crystal Palace is the right sort of club for him. It excites me. It excites me that he may well be playing as a centre defensive midfielder. Will they use him as a right back? We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, very, very pleased about that. Sergi Roberto, let's just see what's going to happen. Don't really know much about that. Yeah, he's a good player. He's good. Right, anyway, I'm closing in on well, I'm walking up to try and get my hair cut. That's what I'm walking up here for. I don't normally do it on such a busy place, but I don't care really. I don't really care about doing it when it's busy. Oreo, yeah, we're going to call him Serge Oreo. I hope he does sign, because be a bit of bants there for the United stand. Borthwick Jackson says Manchester United fan, again another loan, and I'm quite happy about that, because a lot of us like Borthwick Jackson. Hasn't really had a look in under Mourinho, but the fact that it's a year-long loan in a championship club, about right for him. Let's see what happens. But you know, the positive with Borthwick Jackson is it is just a loan and he's not been sold, so who knows. But the Fosu-Mensah one might be really, really interesting. I suppose we'll wait and see what happens. But oh, I'm not going to get my hair cut because it's too busy. I only get an hour, so we can come back tomorrow and do that. I'll start walking back and I'll stay live for a bit. Yeah, very, very positive about Fosu-Mensah anyway, and we're off to play the Super Cup tomorrow, which is going to be very hot and interesting. But tonight we are live at 8 o'clock. It's the Skype show tonight. Got to plug that a bit. Skype show tonight, so your opportunity to phone in, have your say. Lots has happened. Unfortunately, not been able to do a Skype show for a week, so really looking forward tonight. You lot, loads and loads of things to talk about. Get it lined up and get Skyping in from 8 PM. But until then, just a little live one. But one of the more positive ones, really. Very, very pleased about the Fosu-Mensah thing. You know, football's a long game. United are building something under Mourinho, and yeah, Fosu-Mensah not being part of the squad for a year is sad, but what do we want him to do? Play a couple of meaningless League Cup games, or do we actually want him to go and play, like I said, 20 games in the Premier League at least? That's got to be his challenge. I don't think he'd get 20 games for United in the Premier League this year, because quite rightly it's a bit of a risk for Mourinho. But we can, you know, we can put that risk out to Crystal Palace, who'd probably be happy to have him. So thanks everyone for watching. I'll speak to you all later at 8 o'clock. Drop a like on the video and give us your comments on Fosu-Mensah and Sergi Roberto. Speak to you all very soon.